My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paulini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is in the world, wherever you're tuning in from. What do you think about my new crazy background, Vanch?
I like it. Yeah, it's fitting based on what we're going to talk about.
Indeed it is, yes. Let's maybe do a little tweak and let's see if that makes it a bit better as well. Okay, cool. Yes, of course, you can see in the background Qatar and the tournament that is underway at the moment. In fact, we're towards the end of it, and we're about to witness the final between Andrey Rublev and Jack Draper in about 12 hours from now. Let's start with Jack Vanch. Are you surprised he's in the final? I think it's going to be a career high ranking for him at the end of this week, right?
Yeah, I'm not actually that surprised because I've seen his progress the last sort of 12 months, and he's showing me a lot more physical and mental resilience. Particularly, actually, the Australian Open really impressed me because he's coming into that tournament without any preparation whatsoever. And he's been struggling with a hip injury, basically, so he didn't really have an off-season, no training, nothing. And then he wins 3 5-setters in a row and comes back from these desperate positions and takes on the Australian crowd against Thanasi Kokkinakis, and then, wins another 3-setter, comes back from a major deficit there, and then, eventually it was too much against Carlos. But it kind of told you that, okay, the signs are there that, this is a player who's potentially about to make a top 10 breakthrough. And then he showed it again this week, coming back from a set down against Berrettini, and then coming back from a set down today against Lehechka, who was serving brilliantly and, just played phenomenally well in his upset against Alcaraz. So, I think this is just kind of more the trajectory that he's been on. And so I'm not too surprised. It'll be a career high ranking. I think he'll be up to 11 if he wins the title. So he's getting close to that top 10.
Yeah, right. And I know 1 or 2 people on the Talking Tennis team have him finishing in the top 10 come the end of this year. And yeah, I think the ATP finals is a realistic target for him to aim for. He might just fall short, depending on, he's going to be probably struggling during the clay court season to maintain his point situation, but then there'll be the grass and then back on the hard courts again. It's funny, I was looking at the 2 players and their paths to the final, and they've both had kind of tricky-ish paths. There's been no easy draw for either player. I'm just going to bring up Rublev's path to the final as well. So Rublev has beaten Bublik in round 1, Borges, which I think on a hard court in this part of the year is pretty decent. De Minaur in the quarterfinal. I mean, number 2 seed, Rublev is actually seeded below him at number 5. Probably doesn't come much harder than De Minaur, maybe even doesn't come any harder at all, because I think De Minaur is probably a more potent force these days than Daniel Medvedev. Semi-final, Felix Auger-Aliassime. Is there a sort of, we're going to talk about the women, obviously, shortly with a different stream, but Felix has been an unbelievable form this year, winning 2 titles. Slightly disappointing, Australian Open for Felix. But, Rublev has had a tricky path to the final, and Jack Draper too. I was thinking before we went live about our predictions and stuff, and we'll come to that at the end, but it's not like one of them you think, oh, wow, they've, really had a tougher route and therefore, in a way, have played better. Because with Draper as well, Popperin, 1,000 final, 1,000 winner last year. Berrettini is, arguably going to be sort of top 15, top 10 maybe again sometime soon. And Lehechka in the semis.
Yeah, both the guys have had a pretty tough path, and they've had the 2 impressive wins in the quarters and and semis. I mean, particularly the Diminor match, the fact that it took him 8 match points, and he could have crumbled earlier, especially in the tie break, and then he's he's been sort of getting his form back after the Australian Open. Like he didn't have a good start to the year. He didn't have a good, even he was very uneven last year. Even though he finished number 8 in the world, there were a lot of weeks where he just physically and mentally, it wasn't like the Rublev of old where he's just making quarterfinal, and then stacking points. In fact, it was quite the other way around. He went on a massive streak where basically from the Dubai incident last year up until Montreal, he pretty much was like winning at a 30% clip. So then to do that, and then then gets to the final in Canada, wins in Madrid, and then so that basically made up most of his ranking. Whereas I mean, and now this part of the year, like Rotterdam, he played better even though he lost to Hurkacz. So you can kind of you would see him slowly getting back to more the Rublev of old, which is basically punishing forehands from the middle of the court, still just getting back to the basics of what he's good at. Like just go back to old Rublev, who is more he's still gonna have these lapses. Like he still has these moments in matches where he just he's his own worst enemy, and you're still gonna see him psychologically, unfortunately, go through the tough times and the tribulations. But he actually reset really well in some of these cases, and he didn't let it linger as long as it could have. And especially against Felix, he always seems to just have his number in the very big moments. Their head-to-head is 6-1, but every single match they play is always razor tight. It's always, if you remember the Madrid final, it was like 6-4 in the third. They played in Rotterdam last year, was 7-6 in the third. Today was also 7-6 in the third. It was just like one mini break difference in the third set tiebreak. The margins were so slim. So the fact that he's come through 2 quality opponents like that who've won, Felix has won 2 titles this year. Diminor has just kind of taken over what Rublev of old used to be like. So they kind of switched roles there, and this time he actually got he got the better of Diminor, and so he's going to be coming into the final feeling good. Also, he is struggling with a gastro illness, and I think that's actually helping him focus and play a lot more. Like just not worry about the result as much, and not feel like he's letting himself down, because he can actually just solely focus on the points at hand and the tactics, as opposed to what the result and outcome might be, and he can't afford to expend as much energy physically. So I think that's actually working in his benefit.
I made a few notes actually, and just trying to work out which one of these 2 players is the more likely to win. And actually, regarding mentality, perhaps I might not always be backing Rublev, but I think there's been some positive signs this week in particular. We saw him chuckling, I think, over those missed match point opportunities that ultimately ended up turning it. I remember thinking as the tiebreak began against Felix today, there was a stat went on the screen, which was, I think, about 33% win rate in deciding set tiebreaks for Felix. And I think for Rublev, I think since 2021, I think it's about 76%. Maybe that was after the result today. But, we were looking at a very different dynamic. Plus that very important factor that you mentioned, that they've had so many. So even though it's 6-1, so many of them were so tight. I do think mentally going into that tiebreak, Rublev had the edge.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought he was going to win it before the tiebreak started. Just based on the clutchness. Also, the backhand held up better than Felix's towards the end, and so kind of was favoring him more in those exchanges.
It's really tricky. I found the semifinals quite before the match. I mean, as I said, I felt pretty clear about the tiebreak, but before the 2 matches today, although I knew the head-to-head between Felix and Rublev beforehand, I also factored in the fact that Felix has arguably been playing better this year. So I found those 2 semifinals. And by the way, it's going to be very similar on the women's side. I found the 2 semifinals very difficult to call today as well on the women's side, but we'll get to that obviously in our next show. And I found the 2 men's, and I also find the final really, really tricky to call. I'm thinking about the mentality, the form, the way they've got to the final, the trials and tribulations they've both come through. The time on court feels kind of similar, maybe Rublev a little bit more than Jack, but I don't think that'll be a factor unless this gastroenteritis thing does play its part. Experience. Okay, Rublev is the more experienced player, but it's not like Jack has never won a title before, even at this. He won in Stuttgart last year, didn't he? What's that, 500?
No, he won Stuttgart and he beat Berrettini in the final there, and then he also won Vienna.
Yeah,
So that
right.
was so that was his biggest title, yeah, after the US Open.
Yeah.
So
So
he got
you
him
know
over the hump.
he's actually got a semi-final on his CV, which in a slam as well, which of course Rublev. So it's so tight. I find this a really tricky one to predict. The head-to-head though, Vanch, should we pay much attention to that because it's 3-0 Rublev, but I know
I
why you're
don't think
going.
we should put too much stock in it because Draper's breakout year was last year.
Yeah.
And I know he got to the 4th round that year at the US Open, but no one was really giving him a chance then. He was still kind of very unpolished. He was nowhere near, I think, as imposing and as experienced as he is now. So I don't really look at the 3-0 too much going into tomorrow. Like I don't think it's that relevant.
Yeah, I feel similar. Again, when I first saw that head-to-head, I was like, oh, okay, because I just didn't know which way to lean. Then I saw the head-to-head, but then, the dates, which is the next thing I wanted to find out. Of course, they have two of them come on a hard court. Also, the clay court one, you would always back Rublev, really, even now with Draper's improvements over the years. But, outdoor hard, it's a tough one. Am I getting a sense that you're leaning Draper, though?
Yeah, but I don't have a ton of confidence. Like this really could go either way. Like it is really that tight in terms of, in terms of X's and O's as well. I think maybe I back Draper's mentality just a tight bit more. I just think he's like kind of ready for a big title like this again. But it's like by a sliver. Like I do think especially it will go down to the wire. Like I do expect a pretty close match. I do expect Draper to. I'm curious, like about what Rublev does on the return because Draper has those wide serve on the ad side. He can also hit the body serve really really well, and particularly like Andrey when he's returning serve, he doesn't move his positioning that much. So I wonder if he'll make a few adjustments there, and how much, the backhand down the line from Rublev. How much will we see that because obviously, he can get pretty predictable on the outside with that shot, with the, setting up the deep backhand cross courts, and it works against a player like Felix. But Draper right now, he's hitting his forehand better than I've seen him hit it. He's also coming forward really well. He's one,
right?
Which is.
I just think that maybe that if he can just take that chilled attitude that he's had throughout this week, whether that might just help him. Draper, of course, his form from last year in those two finals we mentioned will certainly help. But yeah, I'm just going. I see this poll we've got on YouTube, but that may just be fandom as much as anything else. But and to be honest with you, not a lot of science in it, but it will be tight. And I've seen Rublev come through a lot of tight matches over the last 3 years, as you highlighted.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leymans, and I'm a friend of the show.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jan Faria, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Yes.
Take one. Well done.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Ready? Play.
Hello. Welcome, everyone. I'm joined today by Brenna from the USA as we're going to do a watch-along for the Qatar final between Jack Draper and Andrey Rublev. How you doing, Brenna?
Good morning, good afternoon, Fergus. I'm doing great. We've got a great Saturday ahead of us. Alongside the Doha final, we have the women's final in Dubai between Clara Towson and Mira Andreeva. So it's going to be a good morning. Excited.
It is. What time is it there for you?
It is 10:15 a.m.
10:15. Yeah, it's 3 It's 3:15 in the afternoon here for me, so not too bad. This could go as long as I want it to, and it should be fine.
Yeah.
Who do you have? Who do you have winning this one?
So tight, Fergus. Slight edge to Rublev, I think, just from an experience standpoint. But in terms of who's got more weapons to go out and win this match, I do think it is Draper.
Hello, Ghosty. Already in the chat. I love to see that. Just straight in there, no hesitation. Yeah, I think it's a tough one to call. We were obviously looking at John and Vanish were looking at the head-to-head and who they think is going to win, and I think it's really tight. I mean, the only 3 times that these guys have come together before was pre-Draper breaking out and he pushed him real hard in Madrid when they played there in 22, but I remember watching that US Open match, and Draper actually led for a little while. He took the second set, and then he was a break up in the third. So I think I'm gonna take my British bias out of it, but I still think Draper will win in 3. Just as a little, just to disagree with you there. Ghosty with all the jokes immediately. These are terrible, Ghosty. You need to really work on your game. This is not trying to put anything out there so far, but these second serves from Rublev have been slow, very, very slow. I don't think I've seen Rublev hit these second serves so slow in a while. It was quite strange, caught me off guard a bit.
Yeah, I think the serve for Rublev has been something that he's worked on, and I think it came in handy all week thus far, but specifically yesterday, especially on the ad side, he was going to the flat wide serve that was giving him success. But
yeah,
I think we'll see kind of early to middle second set to see kind of where Draper's adjusting. I think return position will be important, kind of more towards the middle of the second set once these guys get more of a feel for each other.
Absolutely. 30 all on the Rublev serve. Already some pressure for Draper. And I'm just wondering how these two are both feeling physically. So they both had long weeks. Both of them played 2 3-setters back to back now. And Rublev has played 2-3 final set tiebreaks. Has that just clipped the line? I believe as big forehand from Rublev. He's played 2 third set tiebreaks, and he said he was struggling with a little niggle. So we'll see if he we'll see what he can do. Hello, Jake. Hello, Matthew. Lovely to have you with us. We'll see if, and it's an ace to finish off the first game as Rublev gets us underway.
And a tough start for Andrey. Back-to-back double faults at 15:30. She looked at a break point in the first game, so it's an early lead for Clara Towson.
In that match, I do back Andreva, but I'm struggling because this Towson rise has almost come from nowhere.
It's been insane. And obviously just
breaks.
hit the ground running.
Absolutely. Towson does break, and that's a big, it's a huge final. I mean, 2 WTA Masters 1000 finals that neither of the top 10 have been involved in. I mean, that's a crazy stat. No Swiatek, no Rybakina, no Sabalenka, no Goff, no Pegula, no Navarro, none. They've all fallen, and it's a big opportunity for.
Draper missed that instant net.
Yeah,
I think that's something I'm going to be looking for this match. I noticed it kind of the last two matches for Jack, that running forehand, as he, encroaches towards that service line, it's let him down a few times. So just going to keep an eye on how he controls that. He likes to go up the line with it.
Yeah, I think the thing was, you look at Jack at the back end of last year, Vienna, then Paris. He was playing some insane tennis, like so good. And his forehand was because he was so strong off both wings. His forehand was firing like crazy, especially on the run. And he said in his in interviews before Australia, he said that he's having to sort of rebuild after quite a long time out, and his forehand is something that's going to take a little while to come back into being as big as he wants it to be, as it was last year. So still just building his forehand back up, but on the backhand wing, he's one of the most secure on tour on the backhand side. He's fantastic. A nice ace from Draper there gets him to game point. But yeah, some of his backhands cross court are ridiculous, like ridiculous.
All right. That was our first little extended rally there. Rublev comes out on top.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. I'm curious as this match goes on, how much Draper is going to cheat to that forehand. It's Rublev's favorite pattern. He likes to stand close to the baseline, kind of as central as he can, and just dictate play from there. But he does prefer the inside-out forehand. So we'll see if Jack starts kind of adjust and looks to tee off when he gets a look.
Yeah, I believe you are ever so slightly in front of me.
All right.
So we'll see how that goes. But as Rublev goes long, and it's 1-1. Morning, Dave. How we doing? Nick B. Carter is another one of those talking to boy. Have you told Nick that? Because I'm sure he'd love to hear you say that, Ghosty. How are we doing, Dave? Who do you think's gonna win, Dave? Do you have a favorite, or I think a lot of people are seeing this as quite an even contest. But yeah, the club team.
And now it's quickly it's break point for Andreva. Clausen had 30 love. And it is quickly 30-40 here, second serve.
Yeah, I mean that's how tight it is. I mean John and Vanesh just saying how close it is. I mean 51-49 either side. Sorry,
Andreva gets it. Yeah. Backhand down the line.
Oh, there you go. And Draper breaks back in the Dubai final. We'll just keep you guys up to date with that a little bit, as well as this final. Rublev really releasing off the forehand side already. Super Dave, a big Draper fan. I'm a big Draper fan as well, so we'll but I'm trying to stay non-biased at the moment.
Yeah. Jake's got Draper too.
Yeah.
Just a slight edge.
We'll see.
Michael, Rublev fan?
Yeah, just see everyone's coming in with the prediction now. Yeah, get your predictions in.
Love it. Love it.
Better on serve today. I think that's a lovely forehand from Rublev.
That is.
What he love. I don't know. It just all depends on that second serve. I think who can win more points on that second serve, not necessarily about that first serve, because I think when they both land their first serves, they're pretty even in destructibility.
Rublev actually came to the net after a serve.
Yeah, he
something we
did.
don't see a lot. But 40 love probably made him feel comfortable.
Draper is not as fun to watch as he used to be. He does not take as many risks. And I don't think that's
Nerlan, welcome.
Nerlan's back. Yes, Nerlan, how are we doing? I don't think that's necessarily true. Draper's not as... I'd say he definitely grinds more than he used to, but that's because he didn't... His body wasn't fit enough to not. He had to go for those lines with big forehands. Yeah, exactly. As I was saying earlier, like Draper said in an interview that he's trying to rebuild his forehand. But yeah, I wouldn't say Draper's boring to watch. I'd say Draper's definitely one of the more exciting ones to watch. I assume Nick is tuned into the Towson Andrey match and not into this match. He doesn't get the Draper hype anyway, so we'll move past that. 2-1 first set on serve.
Yeah, I think Super Dave makes a good point in terms of Andrey's game being one-dimensional. I feel like he trusts himself, he trusts his game, and I'm with you, Fergus. What do you think? I mean, I feel like he hasn't tried too much to mix in variety, whether that's coming to the net, serving volley. Do you think that's something he needs to change, or?
Well, I mean,
he'll consistently stay in the top 10.
I don't think it's something he needs necessarily to change, but it's something that he could definitely look at to provide a more a range in his game. I think there's quite a lot that he is just a big hitter from the back of the court. And maybe he could. I don't see. You obviously don't look at Rublev and think he slices the ball a lot. He pulls out the drop shot because he just doesn't. Great forehand from Draper there.
That's our point of the match so far.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Super Dave, you are right. He is damn good at that one dimension though. If you're going to be good at one thing, you've really got to be good at it. And you know what? He is good. I mean. He was number 6 in the world at one point, and he's obviously got 2 Masters titles. I think he's good enough at what he does. But yeah, Ghosty, you're right. I actually do like the way the way he grunts. I think it's quite funny. But I think if you guys must have seen that Australian Open video of Goff and I think was it Potapova, where they were imitating Rublev's
Yes,
yeah, brilliant. But yeah, maybe that's something for him later in the year to work on, or just to have a think about. That's a huge.
Another scrappy point win for Draper.
Oh, has he made it? Oh, he has. Wow, that's It's a great get from Draper. Some of the gets from Draper yesterday were unreal.
I was gonna say, he stole a lot of those cat and mouse points.
So good. The whip on that forehand. Yeah, you're right. That whiff from Rublev at the net yesterday, that was rough. That was rough to watch.
Yeah.
I was definitely a bit shocked at that one. You can take that Oakland Athletics comment because I don't know nearly enough about baseball.
Yeah, I like that comment, Ghost. All right, it is 2-2 across both finals now. Andreeva holds. She also had to save a break point there. So 2-2 in both the men's and women's finals.
You're going to have to keep me updated on the Dubai final because I only have one screen.
Yeah.
So have the one that I'm streaming off of and then the one that I'm watching the Draper match on. But Yeah, if you can keep me updated in the Dubai final, that'd be great.
For sure.
Oh, nearly.
Just missed it.
Nearly.
Just missed it.
How deep Draper is in their court. It's almost like Medvedev returning.
Right.
Like, but he does so well, and he's almost got Rublev with the pass there, but not quite. I think with the Rublev whiff yesterday, I think it was. Did Rublev miss? No, he didn't.
Yeah, he missed. He missed it, and it hit his chest.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I think it was to do with the grip position yesterday that he had. He sort of like he had it in a forehand grip, and he was just trying to tap over the net, and he just was never gonna make it, and it was quite funny to watch. But I'm glad to see that if that sort of situation, when that happened a year or so ago, I think Rublev would have melted down and had a big go at himself. But it's good to see that he really moved on from it, and he wasn't too deterred by that. Easy hold for Rublev, 3-2. Why don't dudes let it just bounce first? I do think that sometimes, but I guess it's just what they're used to, isn't it? If it goes really high up in the net and really high up in the air, they just they take it out of the sky. But I do think that you see more misses when they take it out of the sky without letting it bounce than when they do let it bounce.
Right, but then you look at I don't know if you saw the point between Zverev and Komansana.
Oh my! Night. That was so good.
Absolute stolen. It won him the match. It was crazy.
Absolutely, he ripped it out of Zverev's hands. Zverev lost again last night. No semi-finals. He didn't even make the semis in the Golden Swing. That he wanted to get that practice on the clay.
Right.
That's not nearly as successful as you'd want from the world number 2. I would have hoped he would have hoped to have at least won one of those events. I would have seen.
I mean, it probably should have been Rio, given that.
Yeah.
Rune, Musetti, they drop out before the tournament starts, and then Fonseca loses first round.
Yeah.
And then, I mean Alexander Mueller is playing so well, but he takes down Cerundolo, so the draw gets even weaker.
Yeah, the draw. I mean, that 500 draw is really just. I mean, that's not a 500 draw. That's a 250 draw. But who has the best volley game of the big three? I think it is Federer. I think it is Fed. I was going to say something and I've forgotten. Oh, it'll come back to me, but I have forgotten. You think that Rafa had the best volley? Really? I think he probably had the worst volley of the three, to be honest. Not quite working there. That the 7 volley wasn't on the forehand side. I don't think it was the right call, but
right. But hey, that speaks to his mentality. He's gonna stay aggressive.
No, absolutely, and I like to see Draper incorporating the 7 volley. What if I toss Andy?
Does it really well?
Absolutely, yeah. Andy had. Is it controversial for me to say that Andy has better touch of the net than Nadal? Is that like really controversial for me to say? But I'm just gonna say it anyway. Yeah, great backhand from Draper.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, best backhand ever. Full stop. Was 2-hander and Novak. Yeah. Our producer's just firing in these questions. Great forehand as well. Great forehand. Best serve. What are the big three? Yeah, well, it's definitely not Rafa. I'd say Federer. Smoothest action.
Best smash is anyone on tour except Novak. That is a fact. His worst enemy.
Ghosty, I'm going to ignore that. Our producer really throwing up some best forehand. Best forehand out of the big three. I think Fed. I think
it's got to be Fed.
Best forehand. Yeah. Sometimes we don't read out Ghosty's comments for good reasons. Draper was saying in his post-match interview yesterday that he said that in Australia he really wasn't happy with the tennis he was producing, but he was happy that he managed to come through those 3 5-setters. And he said that this week he's super happy with his tennis and the way he's come through. So he's just getting back to that high quality after he's been out of injury. That's a great rally between Rublev and Draper, with Rublev his backhand just pulling Draper too far out wide for him to get a return.
All right, that was good counter punching from both. That's the type of rally I think Draper maybe later in the match can come out on top. I think he tried it there, but he tried to mix in a high spinning forehand just to mix in some variety, and that's like a little bit harder for Rublev to go and attack that type of ball. You're trying to time it up, take it on the rise, flatten it out. But if you don't, Draper's able to step in there, and I think he looked to hit a cross court backhand. So we'll keep an eye on those type of rallies.
Absolutely. I think watching Draper as he nets the return, and it's Rublev who holds comfortably. Both had pressure on their serve on their opening games, but apart from that, there's been nothing to report of so far. Dominant on serve, 4-3 to Andrey Rublev. What can you tell me about the Andrey match, Brenner?
It's been tight. Everyone's gotten some leads and they've blown them, but it was an impressive volley at love 15 from Andreeva. She secures the game with an ace wide, so it is 3-all on serve. It's been a battle, but I just think I'm worried about the Towson legs. Obviously, it's not a big factor with the adrenaline going. They are a half an hour in though at 3-all, so I'm just thinking about early second set, whose legs are going to go first.
Who do you want to win, Nerlan, in the final, the Dubai final, not the Doha final? Because I'm curious. I think it's good that there's obviously a week before week and a half before Indian Wells, especially for Towson and Andreeva, who can both put in good runs, especially for Towson. I don't believe she has too many points to defend at Indian Wells, so she'll definitely be pushing up the rankings. But yeah, and also for Draper and Rublev, I think both Rublev and Draper are scheduled to play in Dubai. I don't know if either of them will play in Dubai now.
Right.
Next week. They both had long weeks, and you don't want to say they both put in another deep to go make their semi-finals in Dubai. They're then absolutely cooked for Indian Wells.
Right.
And that's not something you want to be, because it's the fifth slam. You want to give your all. So I think Draper might. I mean, even if he loses, I think he might pull out of Dubai, and I don't blame him.
Right, and it's a big surface change.
Absolutely.
Dubai's much quicker in terms of a surface, so
yeah,
it's always a little bit hard to contrast, week to week. I think they do use the same balls, but
am I hopping into France for Roland Garros this year? as much as I would like to, I'm unfortunately tied down at university, and I cannot make it. But I am going to Queen's this year, so I'm excited for that. Yeah, meditation Rublev is a good sign. I think he's working on it a lot, and I think it's doing him some good. 100%. As Draper pushes that forehand long. But yeah, especially for Draper's point of view, I was thinking about it last night. He actually has quite literally no points to defend till grass.
Is that so? Wow.
He went out first round of Indian Wells, second round of Miami, first round of Monte Carlo, second round of Madrid, and second round of Rome. And obviously, being a seed, he now gets automatically into round 2. So he will only gain points from now until the grass. And he went out first round of Roland Garros. So yeah.
Wow.
Good
yeah,
time.
I mean, I was thinking about the 3 lefties that kind of come to mind in terms of being at the top of the tour, being, Draper, Humbert, and Shelton. I feel like Draper's just a bit more polished. He has a little bit more firepower than Humbert. I'd say Shelton has more firepower. It's just not as consistent.
Yeah.
You talk about a polished lefty. It's shots like that, like we just saw.
Yeah, like we literally.
For Jack to hold.
You put it out there, and he literally knew you said it, and he just hit that huge forehand. I think Humbert is probably the most consistent of the 3 with his ground strokes.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he has the weapons that both Draper and Shelton possess. So, and especially, is he just pushed that return long?
Yeah.
Shelton's forehand is really big, but his backhand is nowhere near the quality that Draper has on the backhand side. And obviously Shelton has a huge serve. So, it's really exciting to see them see what they can both do as an ace from Rublev. Just he's been really good on serve.
Has been.
So
Rublev has one of those ball tosses that's just so hard to read.
Yeah.
And there you go. He goes serve wide, goes backhand, back behind Draper. Just been really clinical from both these guys on serve.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, there's been no break points to report so far. Yeah, it's been really going with serve, but it looks like Rublev's gonna move towards a comfortable hold here. I can see this. I can already see a tie break forming in this.
Right.
This, and it's not like it's going to be a drawn out like set with a tie break. It'll just spin as be very fast holds, and then we just move into a tie break as Rublev holds to love, and it's 5-4. 5-4 to the Russian. He does, which is why I'm super excited for Draper to play on the clay this year, because his forehand will really, I think, really be something that could be quite destructive. But yeah, we'll wait and see. What's going on in the women's final?
An absurd point to start the 8th game. It's 4-3 on serve. Towson with the scoreboard pressure, and Mira clips the line after like a 20-ball rally. Wow. Yeah, let's see here. I think scoreboard pressure is now present. So let's see what Jack Draper has to say about that.
It's interesting that Tom will discuss his generation of men, how they individual part. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. What Ghosty's saying about the Fritz, Tiafoe, Korda, Paul, like all of those guys, they've all have had really different trajectories into the top 20, and now Paul and Fritz both being top 10 players. I think Fritz obviously had that really big success in 22 when he won Indian Wells, and then sort of disappeared for a year, and then last year he was fantastic. Obviously, especially against Zverev. I did actually catch a bit of the Nothing Major podcast. I really like that podcast.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's fun.
No, as Dave, it was on the No Major podcast, because I'm pretty sure. But yeah, ace, very, very close ace to start for Draper, as it literally clips the very back of the line. And again, it clips the back of the
line again with a forehand.
Yeah. That's 2 in a row. 30 love for Draper. Looking to be they're both really good podcasts.
John, No Major podcast. Is that what Zverev and Tsitsipas?
Yeah, they also have Rude on there sometimes, and then I think those three are just gonna get like lost in this generation. I think it's gonna be so interesting to see how they can keep up with. Is that hit clip the line again? Wow,
It did. That was impressive stuff.
Draper really just going after it. I'm less confident in Paul winning a major. I'm not sure whether I definitely can see a slam final for Paul, especially if he what a game from Draper.
Unreal.
Yeah, no, and I do have I can see it all happening. What's Draper's NBA comparison? You can take that question. I do not watch enough NBA to answer that.
Draper's NBA comp. Oh man. Let's see. Young, talented, with weapons. Do you want it to be a lefty, Newt? All right. It is 4-4 on serve in the Dubai final. Got aura. That is true. That tattoo, Fergus, the lightning bolt one.
Yeah. He got that after he won his one and only UTS appearance.
That's right. What do they call him? The Viking? No,
no, they called him
Thor or something.
The Power. No. The Vikings really.
The Power.
Power, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Power, I think. So.
Have you watched any UTS before?
Yeah, no. The first time I'd ever watched UTS was Draper, because it was mid-season. It was end of season. Nothing had really been going on, and I just saw Draper was playing, and I was like, yeah, I'll tune in. So that was the only time I've really watched UTS. I do tune in every now and again because I think it's entertaining. But yeah, well.
Yeah, and there's Rublev laughing at himself as he misses a backhand volley.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting concept, UTS, but
yeah,
I think especially for like the like 3-4 day tournaments that are like just a bit of fun, like it's nothing really like stressful on the body. It's just playing tennis. I think it's good to see for especially some like players that are ranked like 20 to 30 or even 40, and some old guys.
Right.
Not old guys, but like more experienced.
They had Goffin and Gasquet and
Gasquet,
Bonini.
Like
that was the Guadalajara one.
Yeah. So yeah, I quite like it. It's good.
That's really good. Really good punching from Rublev.
Yeah, it is.
Cross court,
running around that forehand.
Yeah. Just hits that forehand with such a wide stance. You know, he kind of disguises it. But if there is an opening, he's going to go for it. And
Absolutely.
both players know that. He's going to hit it faster than you can get there. So he holds for 6-5. And we've cruised through this first set. think we're
We
about
have
just
very
over
much
half
so.
an hour in.
As I said, I feel a tiebreak coming, and I don't think there's a lot of like matches where a tiebreak in the first set can often be so key to deciding the outcome. But I really don't think whoever wins this first set, I really don't think it'll be a match decider. I think this could go long.
And I'm here to report that Vera Andreeva has broken, and she will serve for the first set.
Well, I think this match is the complete opposite of what I just said. I think Towson needed to win this first set.
Agreed.
Especially for the legs. Because if Andreeva wins this first set, I mean, that's a long way to come back for Towson, especially with the court time she's been putting in. You just a shot of Rublev just meditating there again, almost. It's just staying.
I know.
There.
I'm loving it. I don't know when he started this, but it's been interesting.
Yeah.
Not a lot of his team came with him to Doha, so it's just one of his only one guy in his box. But yeah, I mean, every changeover.
Yeah, and it's good. It's really nice to see.
Great.
Because Rublev, it seems like one of the nicest guys on tour. I mean, look at that smile. He seems like one of the nicest guys on tour, and it's upsetting when he used to physically abuse himself after missed points. So it's good to see him skipping that out now. George Russell on screen. In case any of you don't know, he's Mercedes F1 driver. Do you watch a lot of F1?
I don't watch any F1. Yeah. I looked a little bit at the F1 show they did back on Netflix.
Oh yeah.
But I do not follow.
No.
You,
Draper,
Fergus?
I do. Yeah. Draper serving to stay in this first set, 6-5.
He just misses that forehand down the line.
What other sports wind plays up? What other sport does wind play a huge factor?
Baseball, not really. Oh wow! All right, here's our first opening. It was not a good enough drop shot from Draper,
it wasn't a good enough drop
and
shot.
Rublev came in and sliced it back down. The backhand wing.
It's annoying from Jack's perspective as well. He had the opportunity to put it away and decided to pull Rublev forward, and he was always going to. Golf is a huge one. Of course.
Yes, good call.
Second serve as well. I love 30-second serve.
Oh no! The double. It's got to be the first of the set.
It is the first of the set for either player. Okay. Well, 3 set points for Rublev. We'll see what he can do. I assume that he's gonna come through to Brenner before he come through to me. So
all right, I'll wait on it.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. He saves the first.
Yeah.
2 more.
Mira Andreeva is just double faulted, looking at 1540. And
2 break
actually
point.
gets an ace. He gets an ace, so it's 30-40.
Okay, it's a chance for Towson to break back in the first. Good serve. 30-40.
Draper.
1 more to save.
Flat ace wide.
Stay composed. Stay composed. Misses the first serve.
Wow, and it's a pass from Rublev.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best ball to come in on.
No,
He
it
got
wasn't.
a little bit of a shorter return. Wanted to do the classic cross-court for backhand and follow it in, and Rublev's good enough. He doesn't use many steps over there, so he likes to go back behind you.
He banked
well done there from Rublev.
He banked that the Rublev forehand would fail him down the line, and it didn't. It might have been easier to come in on the backhand side, but wasn't good enough wasn't a good enough approach and a great pass from Rublev. 7-5 in the first.
And Clara Towson breaks back, so we are back on serve. It is 5-all.
There we go. Well, Draper's been down a set in his last 3 matches, so we'll see. See what he can do. I'm hoping that he can. That's tough. That is tough. It's a sloppy game from Draper. That double fault really proving costly, unfortunately.
Right. And I think he probably wants that first serve back. It was pretty predictable. He went with the slider, but that was a big miss on the slider. So he put a little bit more pressure on himself there. More of the same from Towson. More of the same. Just bashing balls, taking short approaches, and they're not coming back. 30-love lead for her.
Big reaction from Rublev as well. Nice to see.
Yeah. The slightly less zen Rublev has reemerged, as Ghost mentioned.
Going down love 40 is never good. You are correct. Going down love 40 is never good. Ever, in any situation. But yeah, it also means that Rublev will serve first in the second. Draper with work to do. But, he'll take confidence from the Berrettini and Lehechka match that he can gamble his way out of this one.
Well, it's a familiar scenario for both of them. Rublev winning the first set against Alex de Minaur, wins the first set against Felix Auger-Aliassime, ends up winning in 3. Draper lost the first set against Berrettini and Lehechka. So
very, they're both following suit for how their matches this week have gone.
Towson misses a forehand, so we're at 30-all.
I have to remember that this is Draper's first week back since the Australian Open.
Right.
Like he's been out with injury, just trying to prepare himself. Obviously, came out 4th round of the Australian Open, retired, and his 4th round match with Alcaraz after the first set.
Wow, a little bit of a stolen point there from Draper.
Oh my god, that's a big steal.
He's able to scramble out of it.
That's a really poor drop shot from Draper. Got it all wrong.
Right.
But
Rublev realized he had so much time.
Yeah, Rublev just gave him the point. I think it was probably the right call to drop shot, but it was not good. I was past the service line, so service boxes. So anything past the service boxes is not really a good drop shot, but got away with it there.
It's a little bit different. Yesterday's against Lehechka were picture perfect.
They were great.
Draper's drop shots,
and I think that's only the second drop shot that Draper's pulled out today. So we'll see how that goes. As you say that, there you go. As you say that, pulls out another drop shot, and that is perfect from Draper, just sneaking over. And Draper searching for a break early in this second, which would be pretty standard for how their matches have gone this week. That's a great drop shot from Draper. Second serve to look at. I feel like, especially with the weapons that Jack possesses, maybe bringing Rublev forward isn't a bad idea. I agree, Dave, but we'll see. That's a great return.
And another slow second serve from Rublev.
Yeah, and Draper climbed in. 2 break points to start the second. Here we go. This seems like it's very familiar at the moment. But we'll see if he can take one of these two. Miss first serve for Rublev.
There, just too much power from the inside out forehand of Rublev.
Big from Rublev. Just into the net from Draper. And he'll have another look, though.
Yeah, it just shows you how important that 15 love point is.
Absolutely.
Instead of 30 love, it's 15 love.
Yeah, exactly. Saved from Rublev again. Big first serve and put away on the return. And it's juice. Not a huge amount Draper could have done with that there. Rublev just too big on the forehand side. Yes, Draper's still got an opportunity here at juice. Looking at a second serve. Wow.
Rublev comes out on top. Yeah.
Wow. Great exchange.
That's just impressive. The way he's able to flip the court, keep the ball low, and hit it with that much pace. I mean, there's just not many players on tour who do it like that.
Absolutely not. Rublev looks like he's fired up for his final, which is nice to see. He's always fired up, but it's nice to see him in this way. It's a great return from Draper.
Game one.
That Sabalenka and Rublev have similar game style. I think that Sabalenka actually has more ability with the slice and with feel on the ball than Rublev does. So not quite, or Draper will be annoyed about that.
All right, add to Rublev here. His second game point. And Draper misses a forehand up the line.
Game Rublev to start the second. Tough hold, saving 2 break points. And it's a tie break for Towson and Riva in the first. I mean, this just becomes more and more critical for Towson to win. Like, it's a
very fitting.
It's a has to.
Yeah, I mean, hoping Jack has a short memory here.
Absolutely.
Wasn't able to convert his break points, so this is a little bit more of a susceptible game for him. So,
absolutely.
First point's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he misses that put away at the net. That's one of the shots I think he does really well. You know, sliding into a shorter ball and kind of just punching it to a corner there. He just overcooked it.
Yeah. Last thing Draper needs is a sloppy service game here. Going down a break.
Right.
And
West Ham with the lead against Arsenal. Wow.
oh no. Draper, 2 mistakes.
And responds with an ace up the tee. That's what you love to see from Jack Draper.
Is Draper top 10 material this year? Yes. As I said earlier, he's got no points to defend till grass. So, I mean, unless things go really wrong and he goes on like a 6-game losing streak, I doubt he won't be in the top 10 by grass.
And there's a little bit of another loose error.
Oh, it's another
so
loose
2 points, 2 break points here for
It's the
Rublev.
same.
Seems like
it's the same as the Rublev game. He's got 2 break points.
he's looking at a second serve.
See what Draper can do. Yeah, you are. Yeah, I think you're about 5 seconds ahead. Andrey 4-love up in the tiebreak. Oh, Rublev will be disappointed with that return.
Yeah.
Getting some love, Brenner.
Yeah.
Love.
Thank you, Newton, Eddie buddy. And Draper, another huge serve. So we're back on deuce.
Yeah, same with the Rublev game earlier. 15-40 saves both break points. We'll see what he can do on deuce. Andreva looked like she's cruising through this tiebreak. 5-love.
Yeah. There, Rublev guesses right. You know, similar to a Komansana last night, but just can't stick that punch shot.
What was Nerland's prediction? Hold on, let's scroll up and see Nerland's prediction. Always fun prediction. On a scale of 1 to 10, how fantastic it could be if Mirror breaks right now.
And Draper holds. So
tough hold.
Couple of holds
from
a couple of tough holds from both.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Rublev is a little bit more animated than we've seen him.
Yeah. Draper just gonna get pumped up here, I think. A little bit. Just trying to bring himself into this match. Watching the match, it feels like Andrey is going to lose, to be fair. Well, Nerland, Nerland made that a little while ago before Andreva went. I assume Andreva's taken the first set. Our producer can let us know right about now. Now, there you go. I mean, yeah, 6-love. I mean,
good exchange from Draper and Rublev there.
Yeah.
It was good to see Draper mix in the slice there.
Yeah, it looked like
make Andrey move a little bit and generate the pace.
Yeah, the slice was working really well for Draper, just pulling him around the court, and then just unfortunate on the slide that just couldn't quite get it over.
And Andreva takes the first set.
There you go.
Yeah, those are some good slices, Ghost. I agree.
What is Zac Efron? Great return from Draper.
Yeah, and Fergus, you pointed that out even from the first service game. Rublev's second serves have just had nothing on them, and they're just sitting in the middle of the box.
Not enough pop. Not enough pop on this the second serves from Rublev. Draper again in this Rublev service game. In the first set, Draper barely had a sniff. But in the second set, Rublev's really giving Draper a look in here. If Towson wins in 3, that might be the greatest match of her career.
Yeah, of all time.
Yeah. Good smash in the net there from Rublev, and it's 30-all on the Russians' serve.
Wow, and I thought that was a good drop shot. I thought it was. Off of kind of two moonballish-esque shots from Rublev. You know, Jack was clipping deep in the line. And yeah, it wasn't an easy shot from Rublev. He made it look a lot easier than it was, but kind of held that grip out a little bit more to generate some more spin.
Yeah, very heavy amounts of topspin there to secure the pass. Second serve at 40-30. Wonder if Draper will go after this second serve again. Oh, just wide. And it's a good hold from Rublev, 2-1.
Yeah, another massive hold there. Bro, through the first, we'll call it 10 games, there was no pressure at all. And then the second set, teams had pressure on all three. So,
absolutely. I
you
wonder
know, just getting a little bit more of a feel of each other, reading the serve a bit better.
And this is really how Draper's matches have gone this week, actually. Just the first set sort of just slips away from him, and then in the second set he seems to get a lot more looks on his opponent's serve. So we'll see if Draper can tough this second set out. I mean, obviously he took it in a second set tiebreak yesterday against the Hedgeka. So was very patient. He's been very patient this week. So we'll see if he can stay patient, especially if he's got it in the legs to take this to 3.
Yeah, and Draper has the notebook or journal out between sets.
Oh yeah,
reading up, writing a bit of notes. What do you think about that, Fergus? There's someone else who does that. I'm sure there's a couple on tour, but
I think it's Goff.
There's someone else prominent. Yeah, it is Coco.
Yeah, I think Goff does it. Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to get out your what you're feeling in the match. Just start scribbling it down. But yeah, is it 2-1 in the second to Andrea?
They're just, let's see. I think they're just getting underway. I think Towson went off court.
Oh, Towson went off court.
Between,
okay.
Yeah.
So I was about to say that's quite an extended break, but if Towson went off court, that makes sense. Draper serving to Draper serving at 2-1, and that's one way to start.
Fires in another ace.
Yeah, just
looking good.
Rolling through this service game so far. Dave, are you talking about Draper and Rublev, or are you talking about Andrey and as Draper pushes that one long?
I mean, it is cooler, but
I don't know. What's the temperature in Qatar right now? Producer, please. Pushes that first serve along. I don't think it's 21 degrees still isn't a cold temperature to play a tennis match.
right. 68 degrees Fahrenheit for those who use that scale.
And that
was a big point from
Draper, yeah.
From Draper there, yeah.
Yeah, I think Draper always sweats quite a lot, and Rublev's got quite a lot of hair, even if he's keeping out his face with a bandana, and that makes when I play sport, it makes me quite hot. So, yeah, humidity is high there. Yeah, 73. I mean, 73. That's rough.
Yeah, Mira displaying what she does best, defending out of that forehand corner with the short little slide of hers and the squash shot. It's done Towson trouble. Towson's still able to come out on top in that point. So the second set is underway in the Dubai Women's 1,000 final.
Ace from Draper to finish off the game. And that's the first game of the second set that hasn't got to deuce. So we'll good hold from Draper there. Yeah, it's definitely something to think about, especially with the WTA playing Qatar, then Dubai, and then the ATP almost following them in a slightly smaller events. I feel like they should have more contact about what time they're going to be scheduling their matches. I think it's really strange for me that they can't seem to figure out how they can play both matches and not have them clash time-wise. I think it's a real shame that because what we're doing right now is having to cover both matches. Draper again pushing that forehand long. That'd be disappointing for him.
Yeah, a really, really bad miss from Rublev.
Oh yeah,
sitting at the tee of the baseline.
Might be one of the first times he's missed on the forehand side today.
Right.
He's been so good off that forehand wing, and he's really fired that one long.
Wow. And then follows it up with an ace wide all over the paint.
Yeah, good ace there from Rublev. We'll see if we can close it out for 3-2. This game's still rocketing along, really. No real long games yet. The longest game of the match was probably Rublev's first hold of the set, as its power's just too big from Rublev as he holds 3-2.
I feel like Jack's not used to being this deep behind the baseline. Usually he can hang a little bit further back to give him a little bit more time, but once he gets on defense, he's pushing, 10 feet. As Andreva misses, so we were at deuce. She was love 30 to start the game.
Is it still what's the score?
Game one. Deuce.
Towson serving.
Andreva.
Andrea serving.
Big body serve from Andrey.
Mm.
Gets the ad. Jake, glad you're enjoying yourself. Gonna have to give me some input on the rugby, as I don't know too much about that sport.
Oh, I could tell you all sorts about the rugby.
Yeah.
Are you
I
going to
remember
be
the Six Nations.
Yeah. Are you going to be watching the England game later, Jake? Yeah, definitely. Davey does. Rublev does hit a super flat ball, and it's almost like the opposite of Draper. Draper hits a very very heavy topspin forehand,
Right.
which is quite literally the opposite. On the backhand side, I think they're pretty well matched and trajectory over the net, but especially on the forehand side, Draper likes to pick and choose when he flattens out his forehand. Oh, great rally.
Great rally.
Yeah. Draper getting out of jail there again, stealing the point.
Yeah, that short angle that Rublev creates when he's, going to defend that forehand wing. He flips it and he's almost hitting, like a good foot or two inside that service line cross court. Impressive.
I think it's a bit frustrating for Draper. He seems to be going into the just let this point play out. He's got away with that, Draper. That's great defense.
Yeah.
After a mishit backhand. I've now completely lost my train of thought. Wow, that's great. I don't even know what I was talking about, but I've completely lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I will say that's two important saves from Draper there. I think he was probably on the back foot in both of those points.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was able to come out on top. So just speaks to how hard he's been fighting. This is some of the best tennis we've seen from him.
See too many two,
and his body looks great.
It's actually quite very similar in shape. Yes, I often think that the backhand is the weaker weapon on most players, but you see that the backhand is much more. It's similar across a lot of players, as in with its trajectory and just a left. Well, yeah, Draper 30-15, serving at 3-2. Does feel like Draper's going into the forehand corner more than he would have liked to for Rublev. He's not quite targeting that backhand as much as he would like to. Draper under some pressure now on serve, 30 all, after being 30 love up.
Yeah, it just shows you how important those first 2 points were.
Yeah,
I don't know why he checks out mentally on that 30 love point and
great serve.
Goes for an inside out forehand. Yeah, good serve. Good serve. There you go. 40-30.
Just trying to give himself the opportunity to get into this second set. Look, can only give himself as many opportunities as possible to look at the Rublev serve. So just misses the first serve. as Rublev misses, and it's a good hold from Draper, trying to get himself hyped up. 3-all in the second. Let us know what you think. Who thinks this is going 3, and who thinks that Rublev's going to wrap this up in straights? Getting some more love.
Aiden, thanks for joining us this morning. What's up?
Is it still juice on the Andrey serve?
Draper is able to hold, and Towson is able to hold as well. So we are on serve 1-all in the second set. And Draper leading by 1-0.
Oh. Let's lose the train of thought. The thought goes off the rails. If it is off the rails, where does it go? I reckon the thought does go off the rails, yeah. And but who knows where the rails go? That's all you know, Lan. Whatever you feel as though they go. It's a good serve from Rublev. I don't know what it's just he hits an ace and he changes his racket. That's strange. Not many players hit an ace and then feel the need to change their racket. 30 love.
And then he misses the following forehand.
We're getting change of that racket now. Strange from Rublev.
I'll comment on M. I think the mental stability is important, and for Rublev particularly, like the confidence. But I don't know if you heard his presser yesterday. He talked about how happy he is just to get matches under his belt. He thinks he's playing well. He thinks he's getting back to some of his best form, and I think he does it to himself purposely, but he doesn't take himself too seriously when it comes to the final. The commentator asked him, how happy would it make you feel to lift the Falcon trophy again? And he says, obviously it'd be great, but he just wants to continue to put weeks together and performances together and feel good about his tennis as opposed to the results.
I think Rublev is one of the guys that's most consistent on tour. He plays pretty much week in, week out, and he's always had that top 10 label, but he's still putting in the work, and I think it's good. I mean, whether it's a 250 or a 500, he's usually on the calendar, and he's consistent. So it's good to see from him. And I agree. I think this final it's good because I don't think either, if they lose, are going to be too devastated. They'll take the positives from this final and how they played this week.
I'm not sure if we still have the poll up. Might be on Twitter, but please do vote.
Yeah. I wonder if anyone... I think the longer this set goes on, the more pressure Draper's got to be under. I mean, he really can't slip up now. I mean, break here and it's Rublev's match really and tournament. But yeah, I expect if Jack loses this final, I expect him to take the positives out of this week. First week back to tennis, especially after the Australian Open. And he's going to see it as he's made another 500 final. And, he's played some really good tennis, beat Lehechka, Berrettini, Popyrin, and O'Connell. So, those aren't bad names to take down, especially Berrettini and Lehechka. So, yeah, good stuff from Draper this week, even if he does lose this final.
Yeah, I think Berrettini just poses such a threat to anyone. Even going into the Djokovic match. Definitely, I'm interested to follow Novak to see you know, how he's moving. I know he talked about how he felt fine and, you know, he trained and felt comfortable going to Doha, but obviously that video of him limping into the airport didn't look good. You know, don't want to make too much of it, but
yeah, exactly.
That'll be interesting.
Absolutely. I think there was a lot of talk about whether his motivation for this this part of the calendar is not that big, considering there's no Masters, there's no Slams, so you know, maybe he's just not feeling the need to win as much as he would have, say, in March or even like for the rest of the year as such. So yeah, we'll see. Obviously, he's playing Indian Wells, so we'll see how that goes for him.
Great. Yeah, I think Jack's health is just going to be important. It was a hip injury that kind of led to a back injury. Is that right, Fergus?
Yeah, hip injury was probably his main thing. Well, I think it was his hip and probably some exhaustion in Australia that led him to retire from his match against Alcaraz. But yeah, just wide from Draper there. Doesn't really get much closer than that, but yeah, Draper will be annoyed about that. Yeah, I'm also curious to see whether these two will both still play in Dubai next week. Given that it's another 500 event. I haven't got my sound up, so I don't know what Rublev is talking about.
I don't either.
He doesn't seem to be happy about something.
Yeah, and it's been a long couple of holes for the woman in Dubai. It is 2-1.
Wow, that game's
right.
really just trying to play as much tennis as possible.
And it's so hard to tell. I know, badness there. It's so hard to tell with Towson. Her feet don't go crazy, but she still hits so big. You know, it might look like she's tired, but then you look at her next shot and it's just huge into the corners. So
Nerlan, I do not blame Badosa for Tsitsipas's downfall. No, I think Tsitsipas has got his own things going on that definitely need sorting out. That have nothing to do with Badosa. Such a big forehand from Rublev and his juice on the Draper serve. Draper really under some pressure. Missed that backhand up the line at 40-15, and he might live to regret that now.
Rublev did such a good job on that return. Found Jack's feet and then had him guessing from there.
Yeah, I wonder whether Jack was throwing a serve and volley here. Yeah, I wonder what Draper's gonna do here.
Jake says Azarenka will win the French. There we go. And Towson just mixing a beautiful drop shot.
If Azarenka wins the French, I mean, takes down Swiatek, I mean, that's a bold call right there. I'm sure Jake doesn't wholeheartedly believe that prediction, but we'll let him go off that one. Advantage Draper after Rublev goes long on the forehand side, and that is beautifully done.
Those are the hands that I'm talking about. That's so impressive.
That's how you serve volley.
And it wasn't that good of a serve. Rublev had plenty of time. He lined up a backhand.
Oh yeah,
over the high part of the net, but Draper gets down in that squatting position. Great touch.
Yeah, Draper tough hold. Right, what can Draper make an indent on the Rublev serve here? It does really remind me of the Medvedev return position, how deep Draper is.
Right.
Can our producer give us the ATP serve stats? I want to see where Rublev is, if that's okay, please. I'm just curious to see where Rublev ranks in the top servers on the ATP tour. Because, hello, Ashley. Good morning. How are we doing? An ace for Rublev at 15-all. Just to see, because there's three big servers that Draper's had in a row to face: Berrettini, Lehechka, and now Rublev. I'll just wait for this point to play out before I make any further comments. Oh, so good from Rublev. Great hand.
Crazy. That would have been a steal from Draper.
Yeah, 15th on tour, Rublev. And then his Lehechka, I think Lehechka's maybe 9 or 10 or 14. There you go. And then Berrettini's 3, isn't he? I believe. Yeah, yes, there you go. Yeah, so three pretty big servers for Jack to face in a row this week. So I think he's done well. He's returned really well as two game points for Rublev here after a miss off the forehand side for Draper. Yeah, so am I actually. I thought Draper would be top 20 on serve, sorry, but yeah. Plants a backhand into the net, and it's 40-30. Just a little opening here for Draper, just to try and work his way into this Rublev service game. Looking for a juice here.
Oh, that is phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Phenomenal.
Fantastic backhand. Right out of that corner. Produces it. It's what he's so good at. Yeah, catches the line. Yeah. Fantastic. Can Draper get a look at a second serve or get a good return in here? We'll see. Oh, he'll be
got the return part right.
Great
return part right.
Great return, but the forehand just letting him down again, unfortunately. And it's game point again for the Russian. Into the net from Draper, and Rublev holds 5-4 in the second.
I think that was one of Draper's better return games too.
Yeah.
Everything was so deep, and especially back to the tee, where you're trying to trap Rublev a bit there at the baseline. Got some good looks.
Absolutely.
It is now break point for Mira Andreeva. Add out. And she gets it with a cross court back behind Towson.
There you go.
And Towson squatting down, probably showing that physical
fatigue.
Physical fatigue. Yep.
It's not a surprise after the week that she's had, playing 3-setter after 3-setter. 5-4 for Rublev now. I mean, can have a free swing at this Draper service game. Draper just need to stay composed. Yeah, definitely needs some first serves to try just put some pressure back onto Rublev. See how that goes. Rublev again, sort of meditating in these changeovers, which is really good to see for him. Just trying to stay calm, trying to not let the match get to him in a huge way, and Yeah, we'll see if Draper can force force a tiebreak maybe in this second set, which would be very interesting. Packed stadium for a final, which is pretty standard. So it's 3-1 Andreva in the final, yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah. Andreva looking good to take home her first WTA Masters title, which is, I assume, will be first of many. I have no doubts that she'll do very big things in tennis. Good first serve from Draper there, takes first point.
Yeah, she's got a game that'll suit all surfaces well.
Yeah.
So sky's the limit for her.
Absolutely. I mean, made the semi-finals of Roland Garros last year, and obviously she plays really well on the grass as well. So, we'll see how it goes.
Game for her has been
wide from Rublev.
Not easy.
Great forehand from Draper.
Yeah, Rublev just missed that backhand back behind.
I have to say, Rublev's played exceedingly well today.
His level's been very consistent.
Especially on the forehand side, he's been very good.
Right, it's that forehand that he's a little bit late to get to, but like I said, his footwork, it's not a lot of steps. It's very quick. It's 1-2 punch, and he probably uses a lot more of his core and upper body to flip that cross court, and it's just so powerful. There we see it draws the Jack Draper backhand error.
If somebody turns up the song "I Feel Good" loudly to joke with tennis players, who do you think have the angriest reaction? Good ace there from Draper. Richard Gasquet, I reckon. Just as the most randomest answer you can think of. Richard Gasquet seems like the kind of person that would really absolutely hate that. Two points to 5-all. Wow, it's so good.
How about that drop shot?
It's so good. I think Mute would love it. I think he'd get really into it. First time we've seen that sort of drop shot from Draper today, and he absolutely nails it.
All right, so now we're going to have pressure kind of flipping here.
This
moment's getting a little bit bigger.
Same situation as the first set. We'll see what happens here. Rublev serving at 5-all in the second.
Andreva saves a break point, but Towson gets another look after a beautiful drop shot.
Towson's still fighting, even with how much tennis she's been playing. Towson's still going. Yeah, good first point from Draper there. Putting the pressure on. Making Rublev pull out the squash shot forehand. Not quite controlling it, and it floats long. Just looking at that stat there, points won on return, 36% for Draper in the second set. Rublev 33. Shows how tight it is on return in this second set. Fantastic from Draper. Absolutely fantastic.
All out force. And I thought he was going to take that last ball right back behind Rublev, but
yeah,
kept it going. It's well done. All right. A little bit of pressure here for Rublev.
Love 30. Here we go. This is key for Jack right now. This next point is absolutely critical. Big forehand from Rublev.
It's still such good returning from Jack.
Yeah, I know.
He gets it deep, gets time.
There have been I don't think there have been many that have been unreturned serves from Rublev, even on the first serve. Draper really throwing himself around the court, trying to return the serve. Still under pressure though, Rublev. He pulls it wide, and there goes the racket. And it's 2 break points for the British number 1. Great backhand from Draper right on the baseline. And it pulled Rublev out of position, and he drags the forehand. And it's the first time I've seen. It seems like a calmer racket smash than I've definitely seen from Rublev.
Right.
And here's the break. Draper breaks deep in the second and will serve for the second set. Well, there you go. Same pattern as always with these two. Draper looks like he's going to take the second unless he has a poor service game. Rublev, for the first time, not choosing to meditate during his changeover and just staring at his racket instead. Clearly not very happy with how that's gone. I'm very quickly.
And Draper with a monster hold. I think Towson had 2 or 3 breakpoint looks.
I'll be back in two minutes. I'm just going to the toilet quickly.
That's good. Aiden, this was always going through. Yeah, it's been a theme for both these guys over their last 2 matches, and it'll be interesting to see kind of where these fitness levels lie. Obviously, a big off season for Jack. He had to withdraw from the United Cup, the week before the tour gets started, citing his hip injury, needing a little bit more time. But Rublev, fairly consistent over his career. You know what you're going to get. But to me, it's starting to look like these patterns, like I was talking about earlier, they're getting a little bit more predictable. And Rublev not getting as much out of his serve, Jack returning deep, and then these slower courts, it just gives him a little bit more time to load up, especially on the forehand side. So here he goes as he's looking to serve out the second set and send us to a decider. Jack Draper on serve, serving at 6-5. We're just over 90 minutes into the match. Nothing too crazy. It looks like we have some fan movement holding up play.
How are we doing?
We've got some fan movement holding up play here.
Ooh.
It's good to see Mohammed in the chair.
I love Mohammed.
I love Mohammed.
He's so great.
He's looking good. He's got the tie on. I don't know if he had it on before. Maybe just a final thing.
I think he did.
Is it Doha thing?
He's my favorite. He's my favorite umpire.
Totally.
On tour. Yeah.
Draper, good start.
Fantastic backhand from Draper.
Yeah, Mohammed's definitely my favorite. I got to see him. It was a night match in Rome between Murray and Fognini.
Oh, yeah.
And no electric line calling, obviously. It was 2 years ago. But Murray bringing out Mohammed.
Yeah.
Are you serious? How do you not see this, Mark?
Yeah, I think he can be quite funny, especially on the clay. I feel like some of his decisions aren't very popular. On tour, I remember Fognini versus Evans. Or Rublev just pushes that. Why? Fognini Evans last year. and Mohammed got it completely picked up the wrong mark on break point, and Evans was furious. He completely picked up the wrong mark. Like the marks were about that far apart as well. And Evans, but luckily Evans did break straight after that. So yeah.
There, Draper gets a sitting forehand and, you know, feels a little bit less pressure, so goes huge on it. Missed it by a ball or two.
Yeah.
30-15.
Looking to bring up some set points is the Brit. Great serve.
Great serve.
And it's 2 set points for the British number 1. First serve needed. Towson is toast. We'll get to that in 2 seconds if Draper can take this set point. Which he does, and his game and second set, Draper, 7-5.
It was always going 3.
It was always going 3. What can you tell me about?
Breakpoint here. And Mira just misses a simple slice long. So we're back on deuce. You know, this type of hold could give Towson, you know, maybe a second win, but it might just be too much, no matter what the result is here, hold or a double break. It's a short return and tries to go big. It's into the middle of the net, so here it is. Yeah, Andrey might be running out of gas.
I wouldn't say he's running out of gas so much. I would say that it looks as though he's less pumped up than he was at the very start. But, yeah, we'll see very soon what happens as the third set will get underway. I wonder if either of them are going to go off court just for a short break. It's a lot of sport to keep up with today. Just trying to keep tabs on.
Mira has a smash here to go up a double break, and she converts it with a huge screen, 5-1, serving for the title in Dubai. I will be right back, Fergus.
Yeah. Off the court to destroy stuff in the bathroom. I don't think it's quite as bad as that for Rublev. I think he's over the last 6 months he's really progressed. So hopefully he's not going into the bathroom to go smash stuff. Otherwise I think that'd be a fine for Rublev. Who has the upper hand now? What do we think? Does Draper have the upper hand now? Going into this third set, or does Rublev have the chance to reset here? We'll see. We can go. I think Andrey is about to take victory, if I'm not too much mistaken. Yeah, 30 love, serving for it. Towson just running out of steam. Three match points. Saves the first, does Towson. And I feel for Towson, I really do. There it is. Mira Andreeva becomes the youngest ever WTA 1000 winner. I mean, just the future of women's tennis, isn't she? So, huge congratulations to her. I know, Draper, just as Vanch was saying, Draper just playing superbly with that fight and that grit. Hugely impressive.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it, that first set being so important for either.
Yeah, for Towson, yeah.
But yeah, Towson in particular. Well deserved. What a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Super Dave. I like that call. I think the drop shots are working. You know, a couple of poor ones earlier on in the match, but towards the back half of that second set, they were working. I'm just still so impressed with the Draper return.
Indeed, I think it's so good from Draper. But it does pull him out of position sometimes, but mostly he gets those balls back, and I think he's playing superbly. Wonder if at 17 years what come in. Yeah, I mean, crazy. Yeah, what will her ranking be, producer, please?
I think it's 9. I think she's gonna go to number
Enters
9.
Enters the top 10. There you go. Yeah, top 10 for the first time at just 17. I mean, that's just crazy, isn't it? So impressive. So impressive.
Jack starts his service game with an ace.
It's one way to start his set, serving it. Since we can divide down line acceleration works like magic. Indeed, for time for your reminder of John's top 10. John, we all know that you were always going to be right. You don't need to keep reminding us.
And there, Draper with a double. Looked like he was going for a serve and volley there on the second serve.
I think you're quite a chunk ahead of me. Oh, no. No, you're not. Never mind. Ooh, just long from Draper.
All right, we're queued up pretty well then. Yeah, what? Yeah. John had her at 4 or 6, was it? In his top 10?
Where do you I'm curious to see where you think Fonseca will end the year, Brenner.
I mean, hold on here.
Oh, he's so good.
Oh, he's done it.
From Draper. Oh,
he's done
so
it.
Good from Draper. Pierces threads the needle. Absolutely.
See, that's that drop shot again, right on the line. Wow, that's well done. That's well done.
Really good for Draper. That's ballsy as well, going down the line, especially with the cross court so open. Tried to catch Rublev out, and he did just that.
Yeah, we'll talk some Fonseca at the next sit down.
Okay. Yeah. Purling Rublev around the court.
That's
40-30.
just what Jack can
As our
do.
producer,
He doesn't have to use too much footwork out there. He lets his wrist do the work. Keeps himself kind of within the court, and he's still able to whip a forehand deep.
As our producer says, everyone please hit the like button. That'd be very much appreciated. We're just trying to grow the community here so we can talk as much tennis as we want to. Long from Draper there goes to Juice. Draper just under a bit of pressure in this first service game of his. Rublev with the small advantage of serving first in this third set. This third and deciding set. Oh, wow.
That was good.
Big.
Oh, my.
It was big from Draper. Wow.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, Rublev looking like he's getting a little bit better read on the toss. He's guessing to the middle correctly at a very high rate at this point. Jack going really quick in between points. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Quick to the line.
Draper maybe trying to rush Fonseca. But Fonseca?
Rublev, that is, yeah.
We're talking about Fonseca, yeah.
Fonseca to the moon. Yes, sir.
Juice again on the Draper serve. Trying to get out of this service game. Second serve for Rublev to look at here. Wow, it's break point for Rublev.
Rublev took a lot off that return.
Yeah, he did.
Draper wasn't really convincing. He kind of wanted to go for it, but he wanted to definitely play to Rublev's forehand. Interesting. All right.
Here we go.
It's got to be the wide serve.
And he gets him. Draper too slow to come forward.
That's where it's like, sometimes it's too predictable. You go to what you know and what you're confident in, but Rublev is just sitting out there. It's such an easy pass. He doesn't even have to do much. You hit that center of the court. Well done from Rublev. Well done. All right. It's not a break until you hold. So
true that. It's not a break until you hold. We'll see what
I don't say that often, but I felt like it today.
No, yeah. Draper now behind in this match. Oh.
It's a gift.
It is a gift. It's frustrating for Draper. I don't know, maybe if he's feeling it a bit now.
I'd say a bit, but he's got plenty of fight left in him.
Absolutely. 15.
And that's the type of exchange that I thought he would come out on top more of. That inside out to forehand battle where he's using that wristy, loopy forehand, and it's just so much harder. Andrey, it looks like a little bit of a hitch when he goes for the backhand, and when it gets kind of out of the strike zone, he's got to reach for it a bit, and he's trying to flatten it out. There you see it going to the middle of the net.
Draper not putting enough topspin on that backhand. Everybody tune in to WTA Weekly this week, please. please. I want as many of you there as possible. But yeah, here we go. 30, 50.
Draper, I don't think he's doing much wrong there. He's able to work himself back into the point, but just bails out on like that third or fourth ball.
Yeah. And it looks like it will be a hold for Rublev. And it'd be 3-love in this decider.
And it's just crazy spot serving.
Yeah, holds in an ace.
This is the best I've seen Rublev serve in a while. I don't know if he made any sort of off-season adjustments, but it's just so hard to read.
Yeah, Rublev serving really well. 3-love.
I mean, 7 aces, yeah. No double faults.
Yeah, no double faults.
After a long week, that's impressive.
Yeah, better than the 7 aces, I'd say. Draper with a lot of work to do. Needs to focus on holding now. He's not wrong, Aiden. It's not a break until you hold. But yeah, we'll see how this one.
Should we talk some Fonseca?
Oh yeah, where do you think Fonseca will end the year? What ranking?
I'd say it's like healthy to say top 20. I mean, he's 68th now, I believe.
Yes.
So, I mean, I just think he's gonna be so threatening on the clay, and even Indian Wells. I was interested to see how he did at the next gen. I don't know if you followed that at all.
Yeah.
Seeing him on a quicker surface, he loves having time on the ball just to give him, the opportunity to load up and pick his spot. But there, against more of a grinder TN, he was still able to, play his game, be aggressive. I'll go back to the Mueller match the other night. He was just missing his spots a bit, and Mueller takes everything so early, and it's just a wall. I mean, he's going crazy this tournament, so I don't want to put too much focus on that. But just on the clay, when he has a little bit more time, and what I think makes a player like a totally a top 20, a top 15 player is that backhand down the line. Like when he can and switch that up with ease, that's when it's just super hard to predict and play against, because how powerful he is off the forehand wing, but then the backhand wing is so clean too.
Yeah,
and he adds the touch on the clay, so it's just hard. It's on his racket is what I'm saying. And
yeah, absolutely.
So it's kind of comes down to him.
Yeah, Draper losing out in that first exchange is love 15. Just can't let this match just slide away from him.
Right. 3-0 sounds like a lot, but you're just down a break.
Just down a break, yeah.
Gotta hold. Just bailing
Mistakes.
out. Just bailing out.
Mistakes coming off the Draper racket now. Needs to read that.
How about you, Fergus? What do you think about Fonseca? Easy top 20?
I think he'll be 32 by the end of the year.
All right.
I think
seated at the slams.
Yeah, I think he'll be seeded at the Oz Open. I don't think he'll be seeded any closer, because you anywhere plus 50 and points are close together. Like you get a couple big wins at a big tournament and you start flying up those rankings, and then you get to around 35, 40, and it starts getting a lot more stretched out. You can win a 250 event and only go up like 7 to 8 places. Like that's how it gets. So yeah, break point.
Draper able to level at a 30 all with 2 big serves, but missed a loopy forehand there. Good deep return from Rublev. So
No,
here we
great
go.
point.
Arguably a virtual match point for Rublev.
Yeah.
See where he goes with the serve.
Misses first serve.
Went up the tee, barely missed it.
And he shanks it.
Oh, it's a shank off the frame.
Big shank off the frame, and it's 4-love, Rublev. Big shame for Draper. Yeah.
Wow, that's tough. That's very, very tough there.
That is. But we'll see how. I mean, it's still a bit of a way to go for Rublev, but you would think that he's got this in the bag. I mean, not to say anything, but Draper in his 500 win against Kachanov in the final, Draper was up 4-love in the final set, and then lost it but then managed to come back 7-5.
That's a big backhand down the line there.
Yeah, from Rublev.
Just quiet footwork, working up the court. Times it perfectly. Follows it up with an ace wide. Just a different gear. You know, kind of after that win against ADM, Alex de Minaur, that is. Just found himself in a little bit different of a mental space, and it's showing on the court. Really impressive stuff from him.
Ghosty, I don't agree with you there, but we'll agree to disagree.
Yeah, I mean, we could be, 3-3 on serve right now. Just some bad decision making, and like on that first break point, the serve wide was so predictable. Unfortunately,
Clips the net
didn't hit it well
and
enough.
drops in, and it's 5-love in the third. Draper very much out of it in this third set. So it's a disappointing way to end. Disappointing way to end this match. I was hoping that it'd be a bigger third set that we could see, but just a few errors off the Draper racket, and it becomes very, very. It becomes very hard for Draper to get into the third set. Are we getting a third set bagel? Who knows? I think we
could.
I think we possibly could. I don't remember the last time Draper was bageled. If we could check that, I genuinely don't remember the last time Draper was bageled. If our producer gives us that stat. It was a while ago. But yeah, big shame for Draper in this final. Seems to have just lost his way in the third set. But all credit to Rublev. He was
Seriously.
He's been fantastic today. Super consistent, and that forehand just blowing Draper off the court.
Yeah, I mean, you think about a year's time. You know, Rublev gets defaulted in Dubai after going crazy, and the results didn't get any better. I think he lost to Nakashima on clay in Barcelona.
Yeah.
You know, just multiple losses, and for him to, you know, return to this part of the world and show this level a year later. And I know we've talked a lot about it, but the mental, everyone had something to say about Rublev over the past year, and you know, he's able to focus on himself, and that's you know, that's shown here. What a stacked draw it was.
Absolutely.
At the ATP 500 Doha. And I feel like it's important. I want to highlight Stefanos Tsitsipas just because I thought this was such a good chance for him. You know, I think the court's playing a little bit faster than I might have expected going into the tournament. But, you know, any sort of slow surface is good for Steph. And he's got the draw with Hamad Miljatovic, who, you know, had a long week in Marseille.
Yeah.
And, coming off, a loss in the final, he only had 2 days rest, played on a Tuesday, and then since we're talking about it, Jovic was on one leg in the final 3 games, and he still doesn't come out.
Yeah, it's just not getting better for Tsitsipas. It's going the opposite direction.
Yeah. So that's
great return from.
There's it's just unfortunately
is that a fact, Aiden? Draper's never been bageled. Is that? Can our producer fact check that, please? Wow.
Rublev still chasing balls.
Yeah. Draper trying to make sure that there's no bagel going on here. Just to give himself a look at the Rublev serve.
Fergus, it came to mind as I'm watching the trophy ceremony in Dubai. The Doha Falcon, probably one of the best trophies on tour.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of outside majors, cool looking trophies.
Well, Draper will not be bageled today. 5-1. How would you rate those based on percentage? As of February 2025, there is no public record of Draper losing a 6-0 in a professional match.
That's right. He did get bageled by Carlos.
Yeah,
breadstick.
Yeah, breadstick by Carlos. Yeah. Producer ChatGPT. Yeah, you're right. Just floats wide. Good trophies. There are some really nice trophies. I think the Queen's Club trophy.
Yes.
Nice. I like that.
Love that.
I think I've always quite liked the Cincinnati trophy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and also the Adelaide trophy. I like that one.
Right.
It's
a long exchange here. These guys are still going at it.
Yeah,
Rublev ultimately comes on top. Yeah. Buenos Aires. That trophy, yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some from the WTA tour as well. The Tokyo trophy is quite nice. I quite like that, as it's 3 championship points for Barcelona. Great trophy. 3 championship points for Andrey Rublev. I've just turned up my sound because I'd like to hear this, but yeah, 3 championship points for the Russian. Ace to win it. And Rublev is the champion in Doha. He was fantastic in that 3rd set. Took the game away from Draper. After Draper did so much work in the 2nd set. But Rublev's forehand and a couple misses from Draper just really set the match on its path in that 3rd set, which was a disappointment for Draper, but all credit goes to Andrey Rublev.
Yeah, you got to credit both guys here. I think ultimately it came down to Rublev, his return position, and being able to. There weren't many loose errors from him today. I know it was kind of a straightforward match. It was really serve oriented, but he was just so strong from the baseline, and a couple times Jack bailing out of rallies. But I got to credit both players. It's a good fight. It was a long week for both of them, so a 3rd set was going to be tough, not only physically but mentally. And Rublev was able to hang tough, get an early break, and not take the foot off the pedal. So,
absolutely
well done.
I think it was. Unfortunately, I have to head off. But Brenner, if you're around
No
for
worries.
5 minutes, I'll stay till John gets here, and then I'll head off.
Perfect.
Yeah, Rublev really played well all match. There weren't many forehand errors. I think I can remember one forehand error that he missed. Obviously, off the backhand side is his weak side, but still, he was fantastic with the backhand side, really going for it. And impressive from Rublev. It's great for Rublev to take this title. I think he deserves it, especially after how the years started for him, and obviously that loss to Fonseca is at the Oz Open wasn't a fantastic start to the year, and he was really not liking his tennis game. But this new sort of Rublev is really, I think, could look really dangerous for another Masters title this year, maybe to defend his title in Madrid if the draw looks good for him with no Sinner. I mean, I'm hopeful because I like Rublev. He's a great player and he hits a very flat ball, and I think that he can have a good year this year. Maybe climb into that top 5, maybe hopefully for the first time in his career.
Yeah, he was always kind of that gatekeeper, but obviously the last year was a lot different. And for me, I think Rublev is just so hard to defeat because, like we said, he plays the same way. Pretty much, no matter what surface, where he is in the world and who's on the other side. So you know what you're going to get from him. It's just sometimes too good and you can't do anything about it. And you're like, okay, I'm going to keep running side to side. And I thought it was impressive. I think this surface suited him really well this week. You watch like matches with him and ADM and you're, it's like it's ping, 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 ping. It kind of reminds you of the Australian Open. Those are always tough battles to come through, and not many players look at 8 match points before taking a match. So I think we definitely have to circle that match, and hopefully it's a turning point for Rublev, and he keeps it going with full confidence in the 2025 season.
I mean, hopefully, for Rublev's sake, this carries on. I'm not sure whether he'll play in Dubai, but hopefully he does, and he plays another fantastic week there because he's definitely got points to defend. There, I believe, made the semi-finals. But yeah, fantastic for him. Draper can't be disappointed. He played a good 2 sets there, and he just ran out of steam, unfortunately. But yeah, he can definitely take some confidence with how he's played this week, and go into next week, and if not next week, then Indian Wells with some big confidence.
Totally. Sean, did Towson go 3? She did not. She lost 7-6, 6-1 to the 17-year-old Mira Andreeva. Claims an 1,000 title in Dubai.
For the first time.
Yeah, the worst it got, Dave, was after Rublev got broken at 6-5 in the second set. Threw the racket a couple times. Definitely let out some anger.
Well, I assume our producer will be joining us very shortly. There's another. Am I losing my mind? There's another.
We got Rio. This
yeah,
afternoon.
I was like, there is another ATP tournament going on right now. Yeah, Rio. Zverev obviously went out last night. Huge result. and that is a really open draw for anyone to take their first 500 crown. I think Cerundolo went out last night to Mula. Baez is out, I believe, as well.
No, Baez is in it. He is
defending champion, still in it, still in with a chance of defending all 500 of his points. But I actually think that Mula might actually be the favorite with the way
it has to be.
It's the semi-final tonight because obviously it's a Saturday, and then Sunday is usually final day. It's only the final on Saturday here in Doha. I think, I'm not sure why, but it's just how they work. They work their schedule. If John is almost ready to go, I need to shoot, but I will stay for a few seconds if John isn't back. Mula, Baez. What's the other semi-final?
No, it's Mueller, Comensana,
and then Baez.
Ugo Carabelli, the lucky loser.
Yeah. Oh, the lucky loser. Yeah, can you imagine if the lucky loser
makes the final?
Pulls out? Yeah, makes the final, or even pulls out the win. Pulls out the win. Yeah, I mean that'd be crazy. Hopefully for Baez, he can defend all of his points. He's such an incredible clay court player. I could see him making a run at Roland Garros, but I just think his serve isn't quite big enough. Right. Well, yeah, you said it's Dave literally just saying that dude has an amazing serve for his height. It reminds me a lot of Schwartzman with how tall he was, and then his serve. But yeah, hello, John. How are you doing?
How are we doing, John?
John is on mute.
Yeah, I was just doing a million other things, so it just took me another minute. All right, you can sail off, Fergus. That's good.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for having me as always, Brenner. It was a pleasure, as always, to sit through that final with you.
Of course.
And I'll catch you all very, very soon.
Thanks
Have a
very
good
much,
one, Fergus.
Thanks,
Yeah.
guys.
Bren, I just want to get your thoughts on a couple of matches that are coming up. I'm going to bring up a draw. Let's go with Acapulco just to see if there's any really exciting first-round matches there. Have they made the draw even? I think, yes, they're in the qualifier, so they might not even have made the draw yet.
The draw is not out yet.
But the other one is, right, the other 500, which is Dubai, is it?
Yeah, let me take a look.
Dubai?
It is out. It is out.
Yeah, the ATP Dubai one is out. So I'm going to get that one up and see which match. Well, I think Medvedev Struff is quite interesting. Lehecka Humbert. Yeah, wow, there are some good ones. Tsitsipas Sonego. Which match would you say is really catching your eye? Those ones that Felix Bublik maybe?
Yeah, I would say Lehecka Humbert has to be the starred one for that.
I think
definitely
you're right.
Two similar. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let's just talk about these two. Let's do Tsitsipas Sonego and Lehecka Humbert. So let's start with Lehecka Humbert. Why have you chosen that one as a sort of a standout first round match?
I'd start with the surface. You know, it's a quick outdoor hard surface. Both players love that type of surface. You know, the ball, they hit such flat balls, so it skips through the surface well. You know, creating more offense, more winners. I'd start with, it's kind of I see it as like similar players, just obviously on opposite wings. You know, Humbert being a lefty, and he took the week off, so he did not play in Doha after winning in Marseille last week or 2 weeks. Yeah, last week. So you know, he's been training in Dubai, getting a feel for the surface, and Lehecka coming off, you know, a great week, beating Alcaraz, and kind of a letdown spot against Draper going 3, but overall a great week. So he has a lot to take from it. But I just think the ball striking, especially for Lehecka, you know, is he going to be looking to go more inside out to the Humbert forehand? You know, Humbert hits such a flat backhand. So just curious to see, you know, who's going to be more offensive and which kind of wing they're going to look to attack.
Do you think, I mean, there's sort of two ways of looking at this. Lehecka's obviously on a roll. He's just made the semis. He's obviously got the reps. Conversely, Humbert's had a bit of a break. Which would you sort of err towards generally in tennis as being more favorable?
It's such a hard one for me, John, but I would give the slight edge to Lehecka, already being out here, getting accustomed to the weather. Humbert was playing indoors in Marseille. I'd say it's a fairly similar, court, but obviously the indoor might be a little bit slicker. So I'm just going to give the slight edge to Lehecka. He served so well this past week.
Yeah, me too. I think it's generally 50-50, but I think the fact that it's in the same region, I think the fact that Lehecka didn't make the final and it's another sort of 24 hours rest that he will have had. I'm not sure if this match will be tomorrow or on Monday, but yeah, I'm just leaning Lehecka, but a bit like today's finals, both on the men's and the women's side, so close to call. But I am just going to lean Lehecka as well. Okay, let's have a look at Tsitsipas and Sonego before we wrap things up. Tsitsipas, I mean, can it get any worse for Stefanos?
No, and I feel like I didn't see any sort of commentary from him. Obviously, I was kind of expecting some sort of statement, some sort of emotion after losing such a tight battle to Hamad Miljotovic. Obviously, Hamad got injured and was kind of on one leg for the last two games, along with the tiebreak. Stefanos really just had to put the ball in play and make him move a bit and was not able to do that. Shout out to Hamad. Crazy serving. So I won't take everything away from Steph, but this is a little bit harder, I think, of a spot for him compared to Doha, where you get such an offensive player in Sonego who looks to take the ball early, looks to rush you. Those are all things that Stefanos does not want, especially with a quick court and that one-hander still not holding up, as he'd like.
Good news for Stefanos is he does have a 3-0 head-to-head, but they haven't played since 2023, and they haven't played on hard since 2021 in Cincinnati. So it's a 3-0 head-to-head with Stefanos winning in straight sets in Miami, 3 sets in Cincinnati, and then straight sets on the clay in Rome. Again, it's a tough one to call. I'm a bit with you with Stefanos, and we did hear some comments after the Australian Open first round loss that he had there, where he was just basically saying that, I mean, I saw a few balls in Australia that I thought he would be able to run down, but he didn't run down. And I was wondering at the time whether he was really up for that fight. And he said exactly that in his press conference afterwards. He's kind of in that no man's land. I mean, he's currently ranked 11 in the world, I think. I mean, it may change slightly in the next 24 hours or so before the next week's rankings come out. But basically, he's around about 11 in the world. So he's in that sort of, he's not fighting for, top 5. He's been in the top 10 for the large part of the last sort of 5 years. So, it's not like he's hanging on to a top 10 spot anymore. He's not even fighting for titles. He's kind of fighting for quarterfinals and semifinals at this level. And I think it is difficult for him with so much talent and having been so high in the game and so vaunted for him to, keep that motivation up, right?
Right. I think it's tough. And you kind of circle that Cincinnati match on a similar court that it will be as Dubai. And that was kind of when Stefanos was playing some of his better tennis. I don't really know what Sonego was like back in 2021, but I don't think it was amazing. So it just shows you, the surface there playing a factor, probably some of the quickest courts on tour in Cincinnati.
And Sonego had an excellent Australian Open as well. So they had very different Australias. And you're right, Sonego is probably sort of at his best. I mean, he's currently ranked 36. He's 29, so he's, a couple of years older than Stefanos, but arguably he's sort of coming close to his best tennis of his career. And yet, something tells me Stefanos is going to pull this out of the bag and get that win and make it 4-0. What are you suggesting?
I would love that, John. I would love that. I think he's the most due, just for a win. And that's sad to say, for a player who stuck around in the top 10 for I think it was 4 years straight. Just searching for form, searching for confidence. But I think this is just just not a guy you want to see in the first round who,
right,
like you said, I think he's playing some of the best tennis of his career, almost dating back to that US Open versus Tommy Paul. I think he lost in 4 ultimately, but I remember that match just being, wow, like he takes the ball so early, he goes for it so big. And he's kind of hard to read. He's coming with offense, but he backs himself.
Beat Fonseca in 5 sets recently as well.
Exactly. A great Australian Open. I think he just ran out of gas. But
I mean, he played a lot of tennis in Australia before eventually going up. But yes, listen, Brenner, big thanks for today, not just for these last couple of sort of previews, but also for the work you've done both today. And it's been great to have you on board, and I'm sure we'll be catching up with you very soon.
Appreciate it, John. Thanks so much for today. It was a great final, and looking forward to the more matches ahead.
Do check out as well Brenner on social media. I've got this at Simon Says Tennis Twitter account, so do give Brenner a follow. I nearly called you Simon there, Brenner.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Brenner Says Tennis and follow Simon, but you know what I mean. Follow Simon Says Tennis on Twitter or X or whatever you like to call it, and we'll catch up with you soon.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.